Hello YouTube, this is an Ace Special, and today I figured it would be best to talk about Call of Duty and how the Call of Duty games used to be good, and what ultimately happened to them. I feel this is as good a time as any, since the latest Call of Duty World War II, is returning back to those roots, and we've already seen both the reveal trailer for the single player as well as the multiplayer trailer, and even some in-game matches. So with that being said, let's dive in. For a start, I believe it's very important to understand that Call of Duty these days is very different from what it used to be. In fact, you could argue that in some ways it's the polar opposite of how it used to be. When the game first came out in 2003, there really was nothing quite like it as far as how they portrayed the single-player experience. See, most FPS games at that time had you play as, well, what could be best described as a Hollywood action character, i.e., their own little version of John Rambo or the Terminator or what have you. Call of Duty was different about this, because instead of having you play as some special forces operative going behind enemy lines or playing as a space marine with special armor that regenerates its shield, you instead just played as an ordinary grunt on the front lines. Adding to this, the game made it apparent that your character's survival of World War II would not necessarily impact the war in any meaningful way whatsoever. If, for example, the character that you were playing as in Stalingrad died, yeah, sure, from a gameplay perspective you'd have to restart the level, but if the game allowed it to continue on, it would be quite clear that World War II would have played out pretty much the same way, and that character's name would just be yet another name in a very, very long list. If I had to describe Call of Duty when it first came out in 2003 in one word, it would be oppressive. It was a very dark, grim portrayal of war, at least as far as a teen-rated game could get anyways. In fact, this is actually how the franchise was for a good few years, right up including to World at War, which again ended the same way that Call of Duty 1 did. And I would have to say that if the franchise had ended there, it would have most certainly ended on a high note. As things stand now, however, past Modern Warfare 2, the games have gotten progressively more into the realm of, well, Hollywood simulators. And while you could technically argue that the original Call of Duties were kind of Hollywood simulators in their own right, the original ones, if they were Hollywood simulators, would have been simulating films like Saving Private Ryan or Enemy at the Gates, where the characters were not super action heroes of any sort whatsoever. They were ordinary guys. Compare this to, again, Modern Warfare 2, and you start to see the problem here. The franchise effectively did a complete 180. Looking at the new Call of Duty game, a lot of people have been voicing their concerns over things like, for example, if it'll have a good plot in the single player, or meaningful plot in the single player. When it comes down to it, a good Call of Duty game needs only one simple plot point: trying to survive. Sure, it might sound simple and it might sound mundane, but the simple fact of the matter is, it works. And it's something that the Call of Duty series has not actually focused on in a while. So, when it comes down to it, perhaps World War II is a good place for Call of Duty to go back to and try to rediscover its roots. Well, that's all I really have to say about what made the original Call of Duties good as opposed to how they are today. But before I go, to try to emphasize just what they played like, I'd like to end with showing you footage from the original Call of Duty and that very memorable Stalingrad mission. So sit back, watch, and remember that in the war that changed the world, victory was not achieved by one man, but by the lives of many. Ordinary soldiers fighting together to do the extraordinary.
Proudest day you have ever lived. You will fight the fascist Nazi invaders with all your strength. For each and every fallen Soviet soldier, you will make them pay with 10 of them. There will be no mercy for defeatists, cowards, or traitors. Anyone caught deserting his post will be shot. Remember great Comrade Stalin's order. Not one step backward. suppose the Germans have? Nothing. Their supply lines are stretched too thin. Their dash to the Volga has left them without the means to bring us a proper fight. With our superior strength in numbers and our boundless courage, victory is ours. We shall stop the fascist invaders. There, at Stalingrad.
They're coming back! We must get out here! Alarm the ship! Kill him! After traitor! Traitor! No retreat! Kill them! Kill the deserter! Stop all traitors! Shoot! No retreat! No one step back! No first! Go! Open fire! No hesitation, comrades! Do not take one step backwards! For Mother Russia, comrades! Do not turn your back on her! Victory or death!